Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today is September 17th, 2018, and we have some new data, and it's a lot of data, that pretty much alters the way that we look at the 2018 Senate map. We have a number of Senate races up, not just done by the same group, so I don't know how these all just so happen to coincide, but it's very interesting to say the least. The Arizona Senate race, Missouri Senate race, Tennessee Senate race, Nevada Senate race, West Virginia Senate race, Minnesota Senate race, and the Minnesota Special Election Senate race, and then we have a Nevada governor race, and then the West Virginia 3rd District, which is showing some conflicting data than what we saw before. 2 approval rating polls, and then the direction of the country. Those last 3 we probably are going to disregard by the end of this video. We're going to start off in alphabetical order, so we'll start off in the state of Arizona. The Senate race there, Sinema leads by 7%. This is a CNN poll, so many people are not going to trust it straight off the bat, but I do think their data is pretty interesting. Back in 2016, they were the only news station that did not give Hillary Clinton over 270 electoral votes besides Fox News, so keep that in mind. That was one of the few mainstream media areas that didn't show Hillary Clinton at a over 270. So a lot of people like to say that CNN is somehow biased towards Democrats. I do think that they have an inherent bias. Again, like I say in a lot of my videos, that we are in a human endeavor. This is always going to have an inherent bias, especially in something like politics and covering something like politics, looking at our political stage. No news network truly is unbiased, but their bias is also rampant on a number of other news networks. So if you're going to call out CNN, you also have to call out a number of other ones, but their polling isn't too off. It was pretty accurate back in 2016. A number of polling areas were off back in 2016, so can't really blame just one news station. But overall, Kristen Sinema leads by 7% in the new poll from CNN. Not the worst thing ever. It has officially put her back in the lead, Sinema in the lead in terms of the average, but I don't believe that Sinema would win by 7%. I do think there are some undecided voters, and I think this race definitely could get a little bit closer. But for right now, Arizona moves and stays in the tilt Democratic column. So Missouri Senate race, Josh Hawley versus Claire McCaskill. So this is the first poll after 4 consecutive ties in this race. I kid you not. 4 consecutive ties around the same numbers. 45, 45, 45, 45, 47, 47, 47, 47, tie. All done by different news networks. CBS News, Fox News, NBC News, and then the Missouri Scout. The Trafalgar Group Republican source shows Josh Hawley ahead by 3%, so I'm probably not going to take this one too close to heart, but it does show that the Republican is actually doing pretty well in the state of Missouri compared to an incumbent. Keep in mind, ties are never good for an incumbent because it does mean that some of these people may be angry at the incumbent, and it definitely could lead to an election defeat. But for right now, the Republican ahead by 3%, even though this is a Republican-leaning poll. Still some data there that we can actually analyze that could move this race possibly into the tilt GOP column, but I still have to go through a couple of other factors. For the Tennessee Senate race, Marsha Blackburn behind Phil Bredesen by 5%. Another poll taken by CNN, and overall it is now an exact tie. Phil Bredesen did lead by 0.3% before this new poll came out, but now he leads. Actually, he doesn't lead. It's an exact tie, 46.5% to 46.5%. The last poll taken that shows Blackburn leading was taken by Fox News, and now the new poll that shows the Democrat leading was taken by CNN. So pretty drastic, actually pretty obvious comparison there. In the Nevada Senate race, Gravis poller, Jackie Rosen leads by 2% over Dean Heller. Keep in mind, Dean Heller is a very unpopular Republican senator. There is very little possibility that he actually wins this race, and many people do think that this is a race the GOP should defend. But when it comes down to fundraising, Nevada is never a strong suit for the GOP, and when it comes to these contested races, the GOP has a better shot in Florida, in Missouri, in Tennessee, in Arizona, in these races that they are defending, and Arizona may seem a little bit out of the question because we just went to a poll that shows Sinema ahead by 7%, but I truly believe that one is an outlier. I do think this race could get a little bit closer. For the Nevada Senate race, the reason why I'm not saying this one is as good for the GOP, mainly because we have a couple of undecided voters, and this state is a Democratic state. Sure, it's not by a lot, but when it comes down to these 1 to 2 point races, it's very important to take a look at these undecided voters. Keep in mind, most of them, or a plurality of them, are likely to be Democrats based on the fact that that is a Democratic state from 2016, from 2012, from 2008, and I do not believe, maybe 2000. I do not, I can actually check right now. Nevada was not a Democratic state in the year 2000 or 2004, but it was in 96 and 92. So not really that long of a Democratic history, just modern political era after Bush leading up into our modern day political stage. Pretty crazy. But Jackie Rosen leads by 2%. That's a major takeaway. West Virginia Senate race now into a double-digit lead for Joe Manchin, which isn't too unexpected. A poll came out showing Joe Manchin winning by 2% if he doesn't confirm Kavanaugh, by 18% if he does. So at this point in time, I do think that he is going to confirm or vote to confirm Kavanaugh on the mere fact that this is going to win him his re-election bid. And if Democrats are actually playing the election game, they probably are going to advise their vulnerable Democrats to vote in favor of it, because they may not have the votes to even deny him, even if it was even if if all Democrats voted against it, they wouldn't have the numbers, just based off 49 to 51. And it comes down to a couple of other senators from the GOP, but Manchin it doesn't matter if he does vote for him or not. Then he's probably going to vote for him just to save his Senate race. As for the Minnesota Senate special election, Tina Smith leading by 7%. So that's something that we've seen pretty consistent for some reason. Not for some reason, we know the reason. But compared to her Democratic challengers, Democratic colleagues, one in the Senate and then one in the governorship from the state of Minnesota, she has consistently underperformed in polling data. But that's not really a huge problem for the Tina Smith campaign, because it still shows her winning. And Amy Klobuchar is likely the reason why she is going to win this race. Amy Klobuchar leads by 30% in the Minnesota Senate election. There really is no contest there. Not much to see there. For the Nevada governor race, Sisolak now leading by 12%. That's humongous. The fact that Jackie Rosen only leads by 2% when a Democrat beats a Republican in a currently Republican-held governor seat, that is very interesting. I don't think we see polling that shows a Laxalt ahead since July. Yeah, so all this recent polling from September, both of them, Sisolak +2 and now Sisolak +12. I do not think this will be a 12-point race, but it does show that the Democrats are doing a little bit better than some people did expect from the state of Nevada. As for the West Virginia 3rd District race, the last true poll between the Democrats and the Republicans I'm going to cover. The fact that the Democrat leads by 5% is pretty considerable, but look at the numbers. 36% for the Democrat and 31% for the Republican, compared to the other polls that show the Republicans ahead, 40 to 48%, or 47 to 41%. So these two polls likely a little bit more accurate. I would take the New York Times poll over the poll taken back in June, on the pure reason that it's more updated and there's more facts out about the race. But this 36-31, I'm not liking too much. It really leaves so many undecided voters that likely could flip that to even a +20 GOP seat if all those undecided voters decided to go for the GOP. So overall, we covered these polls. They are very good numbers for the Democrats, with the exception of the state of Missouri. But that's pretty expected with a Republican group. But you shouldn't really ignore the poll just because it's done by a Republican group. But you can't value it as much as something you would value like the New York Times or Emerson or Gravis. But overall, again, good numbers for the Democrats, leading in Arizona, in Tennessee, in Nevada, in West Virginia, in Minnesota, and the other Minnesota election, and in Nevada, and again, the Nevada governor race, and then the West Virginia 3rd District race. So pretty good numbers for the Democrats there. Just look at those numbers in the poll, not just the overall spread in terms of winning candidates. But for the President Trump approval, Rasmussen shows him at a 49% approval rating, so going a little bit up, whereas Gallup shows him at disapprove +18. So obviously, like you know before, Rasmussen is one of those pollsters that really varies compared to the rest of these. It's disapprove +1 compared to disapprove -18, -8, -13, -20, -16, -16, -7, -15. Overall, we see these numbers, and they're not too good for the president. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.